Now, it's always great to have predictions and to have, minimum predictions, max predictions, for you and for everybody else that's within this community, right? XRP has so much potential, untapped potential, um, places that we think that it's going to go based on what we see that's happening before our eyes and based on what could potentially happen, right? We could see the Fed own, a large portion of XRP because of them using it in our, monetary system. We're talking about the US, right? We could talk about other countries and how they could be using XRP in a massive way. So with this communication, with this information, the kind of what is happening in the future is kind of unknown, right? And since that's so unknown, the price is also unknown. So when I look at a lot of these prices and other price predictions, expert price predictions, right? They talk about these certain levels that it can get to. And I think we need to re-explore some of these levels because we've talked about a lot of the realistic levels. We've talked about, the $10, the $20, the $100, even the $1,000 per coin. But when we get into it, there's a lot of conversation around $100,000 or even some that believe it can get to $1 million per coin. Now, you're just throwing a ton of numbers out there just to kind of raise that ceiling. And it's always great to raise the ceiling, but I think each individual person and what they're investing into needs to have their ceiling, right? Because not everybody's going to use XRP the way that it's intended to its fullest extent, right? You're not going to take all of your XRP and say, I'm going to utilize it for, transactions and all that stuff there. You're going to probably take profit because of the gains that you end up seeing, going from holding 1,000 XRP to now holding, 100,000, $1 million in your possession would be phenomenal, right? So seeing those gains, you want to take those, you want to put them aside and invest into what you're 100% familiar with for the long term, which would be maybe your dividend portfolio, your Roth IRA, your index funds, whatever you're looking to put your money into. It's going to be long term and more consistent rather than something that could potentially see, price jumps and drops by, 50%. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about that $100,000, price per coin that many people have talked about and are still consistently talking about, and talk about the truth of that. So guys, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more of these videos. Also, make sure you check out some of the links down below. It does help out the channel. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Patreon at Perry8K. You can follow me over there. Now, don't forget about my link for BTCC if you guys are interested in this platform. This is a great platform that offers you the ability to have a leverage trade up to 500x leverage. I always recommend 1 to 10x leverage, just to kind of get into the swing of things, and then also demo trading to figure out your strategy. So definitely check out my link down below. You'll get a 10% deposit bonus when you specifically use my link, and also up to $10,055 per user, 40% lower trading fees. So again, check it out. Link is in the description. Now, overall, the cryptocurrency market, let me see where things are. If we look at the cryptocurrency market, it stands at a $2.69 trillion market cap. It's slightly an increase today. We're not in altcoin season yet, still about 62% or 63% overall for Bitcoin's dominance. XRP currently stands at $2.08, $121 billion market cap, and $1.7 billion worth of volume. So we're not really seeing a lot of popularity, a lot of movement in the crypto market. It's kind of flat. So this is a great time to really talk about this rather than get into exactly what XRP is doing at the current moment, because it's flat, right? It's 0.33% increase in the last 24 hours. Circulating supply, 58.39 billion coins that are out there, with a total 100 billion that's going to be released total. So understand that these price predictions that we talk about consistently, I talk about them because of the fact that I like to maybe expand my ceiling a little bit, but also still have dose of reality in there. Just because someone says that this is going to get to a level of 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 or $100,000 doesn't mean that it's 100% going to get there. But what it does do for you is now, instead of you going, oh, I have to sell everything at a level of $20 because that's what somebody said the high is going to be, right? Or I have to sell everything before I hit $20 because that's what someone said the ceiling is going to be. Well, now that ceiling has expanded, right? The ceiling going to $50 and $100, it now opens up more reality for people to say, okay, $50 is not ridiculous and I can get more profit than what I thought I was going to initially get. And you can build out your exit strategy to where you sell at your original price target, some of it, you sell some a little bit higher, sell some a little bit higher, and then you sell some at the max, whatever your max is going to be. But again, these start to open up crazy ceilings that give you an understanding that all of these things can happen. Now, this article was from September 2024, just to kind of go back and talk about this, because that's where the conversation had a little bit more in depth, a little bit more information. And right now it's more about the unknown and what the future will bring. Does that make sense? So let's show you guys this. Software developer says XRP could reach $100,000 or even $1 million. Jones argued that the token could reach astonishing price levels depending on the amount of assets issued on the network. He explained that XRP serves as a financial instrument of liquidity between the other assets like bonds, stocks, and currencies, which could significantly increase the value as more assets are transacted on its system. XRP could reach $100, $100,000, or even $1 million. He emphasized that XRP's value is directly tied to the volume of equity and debt issued on its network. The more financial instruments it supports, the higher its potential is worth. Jones noted that XRP could theoretically reach $100, $100,000, or even $1 million, depending on the scale of transactions conducted on the platform. Now, there's a large range between there, but they're not wrong. Still to this day, not wrong. The reason why is because you're looking at something to where it's always been compared to a business that's run in a specific country or businesses in general. You can't compare this to businesses, but compare this to the money that is used for businesses plus used for, global movement, right? Transactions that we have global, right? We're not talking about one country, one government. We're talking about all. We're talking about the digital currency for the world, right? The world currency. It's a bigger deal than just looking at, hey, this is a US dollar. Yes, there's this many in circulation. That's how much that the value of the dollar actually is, right? Because that's that many in circulation. This is how much you have in a reserve. That's kind of said to be what it is. It will always be the value of a dollar, and you can increase the price of whatever, right? If I had this water bottle here, I could increase the price that it costs to, for you to spend on the water bottle, but I'm not increasing the dollar value. For XRP, it's a whole different story. So you can see that potentially happen, right? Using a hypothetical example, Jones suggested that $100 trillion worth of equity, $500 million worth of debt were issued on XRP Ledger. The demand for liquidity could drive its price upward. Ultimately, Jones stressed that any prediction of XRP's future price is speculative 100%. He believes that the sheer volume of value could be issued through the network nearly incomprehensible, leaving XRP's potential growth open to unimaginable heights. And we've explained this, right? You never actually know exactly how high that's going to get, and you might end up feeling like you made a mistake in the end, selling at $100 and then eventually gets to $500 and $1,000. That could potentially happen, but you need to set yourself up for major success to where you are happy with what you had there. I know that no matter what the situation was, people weren't happy with holding Bitcoin from the beginning stages and then selling at 400 or selling at 1,000 or selling at $20,000. Seeing that right now, we're looking at 80 something thousand dollars, the highest point being $100,000+. So those people are upset, but you still can't be upset with having any type of gains and making those moves in the beginning, being the first believers in Bitcoin's growth, right? But not full long-term belief in their growth. So this is why I say that you could potentially see these prices, but you still want to take it all with a grain of salt, and you also want to build your own strategy. Although it's been some time since Jones made this bullish commentary, crypto community members continue to resurface the video periodically. Notably, they do so to give XRP proponents more reason to be optimistic about the token's future. Crypto personality Robert Dole, if I'm saying his name right, known as Crypto Sensei, recently resurfaced a video of emphasizing the role of increased institutional adoption, or XRP and XRP Ledger, as a key factor in XRP to soar to $100,000 or even $1 million. So again, this brings me back to the point. You have to increase your ceiling for the potentials that could be there. It doesn't mean that you 100% need to see that as that's going to be the end all be all. I'm selling at $100,000 and that's it, right? I have 1,000 XRP. I'm looking to sell at $100,000. That's something that's very difficult to say that you would do. And also it's difficult to just say that's your only price target. There's so much in between there, right? If you have 1,000 XRP and it gets to $100, that's $100,000. If you have 1,000 XRP and it gets to $1,000, that's $1 million. You're telling me that you can continue to hold for 100 times what you just had at $1 million, getting to $100 million throughout all of that time and not selling any of it. It's not realistic. So I like to stick to a lot of the realistic levels. Definitely on the lower side, where it's like to $100 to $500 to maybe even $1,000, but getting to those 10,000, 100,000, $1 million levels, it's just not as realistic to my strategy right now. But I still have my forever coins that will sit there forever. So as it does get to those levels, I'm still seeing those benefits, but majority of my XRP will be sold before we even get to a sniff of that, a taste of that price level. So again, should open your ceiling for what is to come, but there's so much more left on the table and so much more that's unexplored, and we'll have to see where we go from there. But guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for more of these videos. Also, make sure you check out my link for BTCC down below. I'm going to get out of here. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.